Hey kiddos, this is Vic from KTA, and today we're going to be going over just some tactics. This isn't a mastery game or anything like that, but it was just a really good game that showcased a couple of things. One, it showcased what the FCM50T is capable of, and it also showcases using hull down and angles, as well as combining that with map awareness to really be effective at holding a flank or holding a line from distance. So basically going over this real quick, this is the FCM50T. It's a tier 8 French premium that has some interesting little quirks. One, it's big as a house. The freaking tank is huge. You've got that steeply angled front glacis there, a relatively small lower glacis, and a pretty troll turret. Now whenever we look at it, you've got 120 millimeters on the front, 80 on the sides and rear, so you can effectively side scrape this tank as well, which I do in a couple of other games that are going to be in a video coming up later on. Your turret has 150 millimeters of armor with 80 on the side, 60 on the rear. The turret is one of those turrets that can give you some really trollish bounces. Just wiggle a little and keep moving. You've got 1,500 hit points total, and you shoot a 90 millimeter cannon, 9.9 rounds per minute, with 212 penetration on your AP, 259 on your APCR, and you do an average of 225 damage. Now, other than this really cool camo pattern I have here, which I know all of you are jealous of, that's just, I love it. It's just a really good tank. You've got excellent mobility too. I didn't go over the mobility. You have a 54.2 ton tank, which means it's good for ramming lighter vehicles than you. Do not ram above your weight class unless they're just stupid low on hit points and you don't mind wasting a third of yours. But the cool thing is you have an 1100 horsepower engine, which gives you 51 kilometer per hour speed limit with a 48.6 traverse, which is not shabby, and 43.74 traverse on your turret. So you have a reasonably maneuverable vehicle that has pretty good handling characteristics with a really good gun and some trollish armor. So this is the equipment I have loaded it out. The next thing I want to purchase on it is the improved control, just to give me a little bit more on the traverse speed. My ammunition, I don't carry a bunch of APCR. I could actually do with going down to about 10 rounds of APCR, but I mainly shoot AP in it. Very rarely will I go to APCR because I find that the AP does well enough. But there are some tanks that you run across that it just, you need that little bit extra punch. That's the provisions. Again, they're set up primarily just to boost crew skills. And my consumables. And again, just that awesome camo. I love that camo. Okay, enough of the silliness. Let's get into the game. We're going to be on Middelburg, and we're low tier this game. But we shall see how it plays out. Now, I know that they've got a lot of tanks that are probably spawned up here, and I know that Carnarvon is a good player. I've played against him before. And I know that I'm up here with my little CDC buddy. And looking at the map, it looks like everybody else is starting to come up, so I've decided to turn around and say as the CDC. Which is good, because now I'm going to head to my favorite spot on this map. It doesn't matter what tank I'm playing, this is the spot I like coming to if I spawn on this side up top. And you'll see why in just a moment. You have a nice little partial hold down spot there, and a nice little partial hold down spot to the left. So you can be hold down and defend on either angle relatively well. Now the trick with this tank, if you'll look at the little icon there, the tank icon just below the aiming reticle, you'll see that whenever I pop out to take a shot, I try to keep it at that angle where the the gun, if you were looking at it from the front, the gun just is angled to the left or right, but just inside where the track is. What that does is that puts me at an angle that is steep enough that my drive wheel is relatively protected, but my front glacis is angled, especially the upper glacis, is angled to a point that when they shoot at it, they're likely to ricochet instead of penetrating. Also, I'm at a slight upward angle, which is going to make my front upper glacis even more steep and more likely to bounce, but there's some detractors to that. If I poke out too far, it also flattens out my lower glacis and makes it easier to penetrate. So you have to be careful. But whenever people talk about angling your front end, that's usually how they mean, is to pop out around a corner with a steep enough angle that your upper glacis is harder to pin and your drive wheel is less out in the open to make it a harder target to hit. And what I found to be the good angle on this tank, and a lot of tanks actually, is just inside of that track. So, with that being said, we are going to play with an E50, which is a good tank in the right hands. Now I'm paying attention to the map. I know my guys are engaged. See, he came out sideways, and while there was a lot of red on his upper plate, his drive wheel inside was fully exposed. If he had come out at a steeper angle, which he tries to do right there, you see how much red was exposed and how very little gray? That's what I'm talking about. His problem is he's too close to the hill and he doesn't have any gun depression, or not enough gun depression rather. So he has to come a little further out. Watch that gun work. That gun is awesome. It's a very accurate, very fast firing, fast aiming little gun. So now I see they're pushing a little harder over here. Ah, he angled back just in time. And I was trying to pop the top hatch on the Carnarvon. Now you have to be careful because again, this tank is massive. It has a huge long butt. And when you're going back and forth, you got to be careful not to expose too much of your butt like I just did right there. And the Carnarvon corrected me for it. But you see the gun working. The gun is just absolutely a dream. Alright. See, that was off the side. So that was a side scrape hit. I got the Tortoise before he was able to get me. Now I would really like to take that E50 out so that I can go left, but if I go left with him there, he's going to pop out and shoot me in the rear end, so I'm kind of stuck right now till I get rid of him. My friend the Tortoise is very much not a piece of junk. Very good tank. Before they nerfed it originally when it first came out, oh my god, the Tortoise was a DPM monster. Alright, you see there, I over-angled. And he managed to go through, which the Carnarvon's got good pin anyways, but that one I should have taken my time a little better on that shot. That would have been a kill shot. So now we're going to rush in. I actually think I set back too long there. I should have rushed in faster, but you know, live and learn. I'm just going to ignore the Carnarvon. We did over 100 damage just on a little ram there to the Leopard. And that's it. That is the end of that game. But that just shows you a little bit about what this tank can do. It highlights my favorite little spot and how you can bounce left and right, and really do well with covering both flanks and both avenues of approach there. Didn't do a massive amount of damage, but considering how I was low tier, I did pretty well. Oh, I didn't realize I got a second class there. We got a destroy 2 enemy vehicles with a medium tank in one battle. Levasheho medal. A bunch of little badges. Did 1,955 damage, earned 37,000 credits, 2,080 XP without premium, 3,120 with premium. That's how our team did. So we came in 3rd place on our team, which being low tier, that's, that's pretty cool. I ran out of thumbs up. So if you ever watch this, Invictus, I tried to give you a thumbs up, dude, but I ran out. But good game, as always. 14 shots fired, 9 shots hit. 8 of those 9 penetrated. 4 enemies damaged, 2 destroyed. 1 enemy spotted. I was hit 3 times, 2 with penetrations, 1 without damage. E50 we hit 4 times for 823, damaging his tracks. We just spotted the T-28, but I never could get a good shot at him. We got 2 rounds into the Tortoise. We got 1 round into the Carney. And we got 1 round into the Leo. Now, we also rammed the Leo. And look at the difference. Because the one into the Carnarvon was a side shot. It was pretty clean. And that actually is a high roll. So, 281 damage for 1 shot. 502 damage for 1 shot. That's because of the ram. So if you figure, even if I'd gotten another high roll of around 280, still did 220 damage in the ram. So I did as much in the ram as I would get from a normal shot. So always remember that when you're driving this tank. It's a good little rammer. And there's our credit earnings, our XP, and again our little awards. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, FCM50T. It's a tank you don't see very often, but when you do see it on the battlefield, just remember she's a tricky little bugger. So be careful with her. Alright, that's it. See you, bye.